Perspective. Works of fiction such as TV and film are all about perspective. Fiction in general is the classification of imaginative stories. These stories have the ability to convey themes to give stories a deeper meaning. But with TV and films, these stories are presented visually, allowing for a whole new experience and perspective on the story. The perspective provides new ways to justify characters' actions, events, and even reality itself, questioning if what is being shown is in fact real. Perfect Blue is one of the shows, the greatest psychological drama anime of all time. It was written by the master of mind-bending, trippy animes, the late and great Satoshi Kon. To attempt to go too in-depth with this would be foolhardy on my behalf and would inevitably leave me flat on my face. So I don't feel like exposing myself too much, but to just shrug and say it's alright and it's really good isn't going to do this movie justice either. After watching Perfect Blue, I felt like I had just witnessed masterclass in direction. And make no mistake, it is a masterclass in performance too. So what exactly happens in this movie that I am saying so many good things about it? But before that, you know what, I can actually make reviews 30 or 40 minutes long too. But I don't make them because it will be boring, and rather than making my viewers spend 30 minutes on my video, I would rather tell them to spend the 30 minutes watching the show or the movie that I am reviewing. But for this movie, boy oh boy, I can't really make a long ass review for this because my entire brain cells have been eradicated after watching this movie. So just let's try to keep this short and simple. Perfect Blue is the psychological thriller anime film based on the novel of the same name, made in 1997 by Studio Madhouse and was directional debut of Satoshi Kon, the genius mind behind other great animated works such as Paranoia Agent and Millennium Actress. The film follows Mima Kirigoe, a ex-singer for J-pop idol group Cham, who decides to leave this group after moderate success and financial limitations to pursue a more profitable career as an actress. Much to the dismay of her fans and management, she manages to land a role in the crime drama. However, at the same time she starts receiving anonymous threats and even finds a blog called as Mima's Room that details her life in intimate detail without her knowledge. This is soon followed by the chain of mysterious murders taking place to the people around him, all while she is being stalked by an obsessed fan called as Me-Mania, and also her very own pop idol self in the form of a ghost, haunting her and insisting that she should return to singing. Throughout the film, Mima questions her decisions as an actress and due to her experiences and events loses her sense of reality. And all of this correlates to create this dark, enthralling mindfuck that will have you on the edge of your seat like no other anime. The story itself have a very classical feel to it. A person's insecurity and doubt after making a major life decision isn't anything groundbreaking, but it is an easy to relate subject, and there are many ways to make the simple storyline interesting. Kon's expert storytelling and the incredible cinematics of Perfect Blue makes it well worth watching. The camera angles and the way scenes are spliced together is incredible. The more Mima becomes uncertain of her world, the more the audience becomes unsure of what they are seeing. Was that last scene a dream or reality? When the scene repeats, is the second version the reality or is it a dream again? Or were they both dreams? The ambiguity of what is and what isn't can be frustrating at times, but in the end, the effectiveness of the storytelling outweighs any real need to know what was and wasn't. The main character Mima shows us that celebrities are normal people who are affected by stress and worry just like everyone else. However, they have legions of people worshipping them as if they are gods and obsessing them over every move. It is especially hard for female actresses and singers that have to deal with the added pressure of having to look always sexy. The stress and expectations that celebrities face can take a real psychological toll and helps explain why so many celebrities act out in outrageous fashion or have complete psychological breakdowns. Mima never turns to drugs, crazy religions or any other typical American celebrity coping mechanisms. Instead, she tries to carry all the weight and burden of fame by herself. The film also examines the negative impact of obsessive otaku culture through Me-Maniac and looks at Japan's objectifications of women. Another interesting character is Rumi, who is supposed to be Mima's manager and a voice of reason. However, she is an ex-idol who is obsessed with getting back in the spotlight and cares more about living through Mima than she does for Mima herself. The art shows beautiful symbolism. Tones are darkened slightly to add an extra layer of mystery and unease. It has a realistic world and character designs to it. Each character's look matches their personality extremely well. The eyes on the creeper characters gives the twisted feeling to them, while Mima switches from upbeat to happy to paranoia or depressed effortlessly. It's never out of place for the scenes in the story. Watching the art technique used to portray confusion in Mima's mind, believing a glass door isn't there, or the splash of puddle makes the necessary details that makes this movie wonderful. The heavy blurs mixing the dreams and reality, the quick transitions trying to plot together with story progression while maintaining illusion is executed flawlessly in Perfect Blue. Satoshi Kon has always done beautiful running animation, but nowhere it is more appreciated than in Perfect Blue. The way the characters stumble a little every now and then, or run full sprint into the wall and push off to round a corner rather than just slowing down and making a turn, coupled with spectacular voice performances by cast, most notably when they are screaming for help or begging for forgiveness, does wonders at conveying the sheer terror these characters are experiencing during the more violent scenes. From eye stabbing to rape, some of these scenes seems like they are too disgusting to watch, and there was always a part of me that wanted to turn away, but the fear bleeds through the screen in such a way that I found my eye glued to the screen, and myself actually praying for the character's safety. In this sense, even though Perfect Blue doesn't establish easiest character to empathize with, the shockingly realistic way they convey horror awakens the primal concern we have for someone in distress. The twist at the end is skin-crawling creepy, and at the happy medium between predictable and out of the blue. It's hinted at the few times throughout the film, but with all the reality bending and psychotic delusions going on, it certainly isn't the only outcome I suspected. Too bad it so clearly distinguishes the previously hazy borders between what is real and what isn't. Such an ambiguous movie should be retained a little bit of ambiguity to the end, but instead climax brings reality fast and hard. Its clarity and convenience makes it slightly unsatisfying. In the end, it becomes evident that through Mima's experience as both a pop idol and actress, she finally understands who she truly is. It's also through Mima's experiences and encounters with both Rumi and Uchida that she endures psychological hardships, but learns a valid lesson in finding herself. Hence, the main message of this movie is that life is continuously learning experiences. As Mima starts to learn about her own identity as a person, the movie also is a symbol in expressing how mental illness is a drastic issue that controls an individual to perceive the world in an unrealistic way. Another key point is that through transitions, which is Mima's journey, one can find who they truly are. This is of course inevitably impacted by experiences and attitudes that an individual will encounter throughout their lifelong journey. And I think that wraps up about the review of Perfect Blue movie. What are your thoughts about this movie? Have you already watched this one? If you have watched this one, then let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And if you haven't watched Perfect Blue yet, then you should do it as soon as possible. And I think that's for today's video, guys. If you enjoyed this video, then don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel, because I post daily anime content about top 10 top 5 listings, anime reviews, recommendations, news, theories, and all sorts of anime content on daily basis. So if you enjoyed, please subscribe, and that was it, and I will see you in the next one. Sayonara.